Hi, this is Celeste Majors, your canary in the coal mine. So today I want to tell you something that will probably sound unbelievable. Basically, there's only two causes of disease. And you're saying, how can that possibly be when there's so many different varieties of diseases and conditions? But the truth is that if you wind it back to the root cause, there really are only two different causes of diseases. One is that you've taken something into the body that doesn't belong there and the body doesn't know how to handle it. This is what we're referring to when we refer to toxins, or we're worried about pesticides or chemicals or additives or flavorings that aren't natural. That's one reason why the body gets sick. It's overburdened by things it has taken in that it doesn't have the mechanisms for processing. So your kidneys and your liver have to work on getting those things out of the body. And with as many things as we have in our environment today, in our food supply, that can be a real challenge for the body to get rid of that stuff as fast as it comes in. So the second way that we get sick is because we're malnourished. We haven't taken in something that the body needs to function. And so certain cycles in the body and organs just can't do their job because they don't have the raw materials that they need. That's it. That's basically how you get sick, is one or the other of those things, or both exist. And it really helps when you're trying to evaluate information that you're hearing about medical things to think along those lines. You can ask yourself, does this thing that is being recommended add something to the body that doesn't really belong there and the body doesn't know how to handle it? Or the other way around, am I not getting enough of certain nutrients that the body needs to function? So I first heard this concept from a chemist who had his own health challenges and figured out how to get himself out of it again. His name was Raymond Francis. His name is Raymond Francis. And he has a website called Beyond Health, because that's his whole philosophy, is you can move beyond simple illness and wellness into a state where you're almost invincible if you pay attention to these two basic things. Don't add anything to the body that isn't supposed to be there, and make sure that the body has everything it's supposed to have. He likens the body to like a city, and the city contains a whole bunch of factories. And if you think about it that way, the factories need certain ingredients, need certain materials in order to produce whatever their product is. And if they don't get those materials, then they just can't produce the product. Or they can produce a product that's defective. It's missing parts because they didn't get those parts in. And on the other hand, think of a city, if it gets way too much garbage in it, and the garbage elimination system can't take it away fast enough. You know what happens when certain cities have had garbage strikes? The garbage just piles up and it impedes the processes that are going on in the city, and in the case of live people, they can make them sick. So that's basically what happens. So you're saying like, oh, now wait a minute, how come somebody gets one thing and somebody else gets another thing? How can it possibly be? Well, I'm talking primarily about chronic illnesses, which tend to be either a buildup of toxicity or an inadequacy of certain nutrients. But it's also somewhat true for acute diseases that are caused by germs, because what that means is you're surrounded by germs all the time. And if your body is really tuned up and really operating right, then your immune system handles those germs as they come in, and you don't get sick when your neighbor does get sick. So once again, we're back to the issue of the factory. Is your immune system as a factory getting everything it needs to function and not getting overburdened with other things that it puts too much of a strain on it so that it can't fight the germs because it's busy fighting things inside your body? That's what's called an autoimmune disease, is where your own immune system is so busy handling stuff that it can't deal with the germs. So anyway, I just want to cite a little example of my own family. My mother and father and I, when I was growing up, were all eating the same food, for example. Yet my mother gets her condition, her primary medical condition is pancreatitis. She has inflammation of the pancreas. She can't handle some of the food we were eating. I was manifesting symptoms like migraine headaches, and yet it's the same food. And then my father got heart disease. So there's three of us all exposed to the same environment at home, eating the same food, but each of us manifested symptoms in a different sort of way. And that's what happens. That's why there's so many different diseases. But they're really, if you wind them back, they really have kind of the same root causes. It's just my body was weak in one area, and so I manifested one thing. My father's body was weak in another area. He manifested something different. And my mother manifested yet a third thing. And we were all pretty much exposed to the same conditions. So I hope that understanding this basic idea will help you in being able to sort out the information that you might hear from sources about what you should be taking or what you should be doing or whatever. Just think along simple lines. Is this something my body is built to handle that I'm taking in? Or is this something that shouldn't be in the body? Or on the other hand, is my body getting everything it needs in order to function successfully? So that's it for today, and I want you all to continue to improve your health and be well.